This is the Surly Grognards for November 30th, 2015. This is Peter Bowman, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Eric Carlson. How are you doing tonight, Eric?
I'm doing okay.
Most excellent! Dear God, it's November 30th.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Tomorrow's December 1st.
Yep.
I'm going to start worrying about the most horrible holidays that was ever horrible. I dislike Christmas, if only because the degree of pressure that where you have to buy presents for everyone. I like giving gifts. I like receiving gifts. I like the act. I really dislike the act of looking for gifts.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Like I like giving a gift and seeing it be well received and then being happy and actually hitting the mark.
Yes.
That's really cool. That's a really nice feeling. What I really hate is actually the process of finding the gift and buying it and waiting for it to arrive and all that shit. That really bugs the crap out of me.
Yeah, I love it when I'm able to find gifts without like needing to.
Yes, that's the best way to do it.
Oh, that'd be perfect. But like actively shopping for them is kind of a pain.
Yeah, and that's why I dislike Christmas. I am required to actively shop for gifts, as opposed to going, oh, this is cool, so-and-so will enjoy this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. Oh, boy. So, we don't have a specific topic this week. We
so
have a
just
topic.
Keep on forgetting to do the research on the one that we established 2 or 3 weeks ago.
We're terrible, terrible, terrible people at this job. All right, I'm going to leak what the actual topic's going to be when we actually get to it, because we're going to be talking about kung fu movies, because
yes,
it's one of my absolute. They're near and dear to my heart. I love, love, love old school kung fu flicks.
I really enjoyed the sort of renaissance they had in the early 2000s.
Yes, I did too. And there's one I still haven't watched that I really should. Oh, fuck, I can't remember the name of it now. It's the one that you saw and said immediately, oh, that one's designed for Peter.
It's not Hero, is it?
Not a hero. It's the one with the guy who gets pulled into the thing, the Journey to the West thing.
Oh, is this the one with the stupid American guy?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, with Jackie Chan and Jet Li at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I intend to...
Yeah, ignore the stupid American. Everything else about that movie is great.
I intend to watch it, and so I keep meaning to watch it. I keep forgetting. What's the name of it? Do you remember?
I don't remember the top.
Crap.
Remember at the top of my head. Because it's an American attempt to do a Hong Kong action flick, or kung fu movie, and they do a pretty good job, except for the goddamn audience insert character, who's just apparently loves kung fu movies, but has never seen Journey to the West and doesn't know who the Monkey King is.
It's the Forbidden Kingdom.
Yeah.
I have to watch this movie at some point. I mean, it's on my list of things I have to watch at some point. It's just been there since 2008.
Yeah, and you've got Jackie Chan and Jet Li fighting like half the time, and it's fucking awesome.
Why do you think I'm still perplexed by the fact I haven't seen it? But
yeah. How have you not seen this movie?
I don't know. Eric can attest to my profound love for both Jackie and Jet. I mean, they're two.
Yeah.
I adore both of them. Fuck it, we can talk about kung fu.
Okay.
It's been a while. I mean, we haven't. The problem is that neither of us have watched any kung fu flicks in a while. And we'll probably have to stay on sort of the more modern ones because those are the ones we've seen most recently.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you could not for the life of me get me to remember the names of any of the older kung fu movies. Despite the fact I've watched probably the same ones you have at the same time in the 80s.
Yeah. That's the thing, is during the 80s, one of the local channels here in Boston, the UHF channel, is Channel 56.
Good old-fashioned 56.
WLVI, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yes, I remembered it. Ha! They had a bunch of different sort of things. They do blocks of old movies that were cheap as hell to get. So
Yeah.
they had the Creature double feature with monster movies.
Which were my fucking favorites.
And I love Creature double feature also. They showed a ton of Godzilla movies and stuff there.
So many Godzilla movies.
So good.
So awesome.
And some Gamera and Creature from the Black Lagoon, and it was great.
Oh
Loved
yeah. Attack of the Mole People was in there once.
Yeah,
that's how I learned about Ishtar.
Right. I think they showed them at least once.
I know they showed They Live.
Well, yeah, of course, but them is of course is one of the old 50s sci-fi movies.
Yeah, with the giant spiders.
The giant ants and giant spiders.
Oh, right.
The one where you actually, if you understand size, you go, yeah, I knew.
Why do we even have a squared cube law?
Right.
Yeah, Atomic Robo.
Yeah. But they also had, I think it was called Saturday Kung Fu Theater, if I remember correctly.
Yep, they had Saturday Kung Fu Theater and the Creature double feature. Those are both awesome.
And I watched a fair number of Kung Fu flicks on that.
Yeah.
Not understanding a goddamn thing. Because when you're like 10 and you're
watching... It doesn't fucking matter.
All you're watching is Kung Fu. And like the story... Pfft. And for some of them, the story is a little sort of, irrelevant. But like I that's where I cut my teeth on some of them. Like I later, like when I was older, watched some notable old sort of ones from the like 70s or so. But like I like some of the classic Hammer Brothers stuff. But I didn't really completely get into it until roughly around high school, when I dove deep into Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and Jet Li, specifically those three.
Right.
Most specifically Jackie. Grabbed me, but like by the scruff of the neck.
Oh hell, man! Rumble in the Bronx is a fucking classic.
No, I'm going a little bit older than that, but yeah. Rumble in the Bronx I adore, and we'll get to that because there's so much I want to talk about Rumble in the Bronx. There's a lot of things that just exemplify why Jackie is awesome and insane. But the first sort of martial arts movie I remember watching that really grabbed me was Bruce Lee. It was Enter the Dragon. Because
yeah, I'll definitely agree with you there. Enter the Dragon is fucking amazing.
That's the one that made me go, oh my god. And I mean, it's just Bruce Lee's just pure magnetic personality. And it's
what is this, an exhibition?
You can't take your eyes off of him. I mean, he was just riveting.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen his other movies, like Return of the Dragon's good. The Chinese Connection is also good.
What's the one where he has to climb the ziggurat and fight Shaquille O'Neal?
It was not Shaquille O'Neal. It was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Thank you.
And that's
it was someone from the.
It could not have been Shaquille O'Neal.
Basketball.
Shaquille wasn't born when Jackie died.
You're right.
When Bruce died, sorry.
When Bruce died, right.
That was Game of Death, and that was never finished. Well, okay. Asterisk. There was a movie release called The Game of Death using footage that was filmed. But Bruce died on set.
Yeah.
And so someone took a bunch of the footage and cobbled together with like quote doubles and filmed a whole bunch of new footage to make a movie, and it's special. There's some wonderful bits where the guy who's filling in for Bruce throughout it is like, because Bruce is wearing this yellow sort of tracksuit thing in the fight scenes in it, and so he's going around in it with like a motorcycle helmet on to make sure you don't notice it's not actually Bruce. And there are bits
you can totally tell because he doesn't fight nearly as well as Bruce.
Well, no, and there's so many reasons that he was obviously not Bruce. And there are bits where like you see long distance shots of him like in a window, and it's actually a cardboard cutout of Bruce.
Right.
It's amazing. But they, about 10 years ago, I want to say roughly about 10 years ago, back around 2005, AMC aired a documentary which was talking about the filming of Game of Death. And when they were doing it, they discovered lost footage from some more of the fight scenes from the tower. And it had Bruce's wife on there, his widow. And she was talking about the filming of the movie and Bruce's goals for it and and like it was like the entire thing was a metaphor, the entire tower, because he's going up this tower fighting different masters of particular martial arts, and and with his style without a style thing, because
right.
And the one person, the one person who's a complete total equal fight challenge is the last guy at the top, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who is also someone who doesn't fear death because he just focuses on living life, and also has no style. He's the best fighter in the tower,
of course.
And the fight scene, the complete fight scene between Bruce and Kareem is amazing. And for most of it, Bruce is losing because the two of them are Kareem is not is not Bruce's equal at martial arts.
No, clearly not. But it's called acting.
But also, there's the advantage. The thing is that there's this. It demonstrates he's a phenomenal athlete, and his size advantage is so huge.
Yeah, because Bruce was a tiny thing, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a fucking giant.
Bruce was around 5'6" or so.
Right.
And Kareem is around 7'2", 7'4", and somewhere in that range.
Yeah. He's
well over 7 feet tall. And it's just, he's got so much reach. And it's just, the fights, and if you haven't seen it, track this down just to watch that scene. Track down the documentary if you can, because you can see all 4 of the fight scenes in the tower. And they're all just amazing. Because you're watching these guys who Bruce is going with, who are all masters of this. He found people who were really good at what they were doing. And the fight scene with the master of Hapkido, his Korean grappling art, is amazing. You're watching Bruce, who's primarily a striker, going up against somebody who's, this master, this really, really effective, grappling technique and style, and it's amazing. But the whole point of this movie is supposed to be a philosophical movie, and it's turned into a sort of generic action flick with a crime boss at the top of the tower. And
yeah.
But
speaking of AMC, they've recently started a show called Into the Badlands.
Yeah.
And I think it's AMC, and I've only seen the first episode, but it's like, wow, someone really loves old school kung fu movies. Because it's very much like, there was some sort of calamity or something, society collapsed, and now you have these barons who are totally not triad gangs who control the poppy fields, and one of the barons' chief enforcers is the main character named Sonny, who is totally not Bruce Lee, who runs around kicking everyone's ass.
But yeah, that's the thing, actually. The really interesting thing about Bruce's movies, like all of them, is there's a certain philosophy to Bruce's character in all of them.
Yes. And
it's really interesting looking at what his movies are all about something. And it's Enter the Dragon really is framework is it's a classic martial arts tournament movie with a evil bad guy hosting a tournament to bring all these guys together, but it's also about personal discipline and finding strength within yourself and learning to trust outsiders, because Bruce sort of learns to trust the other two.
Right.
Other two main characters, one of whom unfortunately doesn't survive. Sadly, it's the black guy who's really fucking good. Oh my god, what is his name?
Yeah, he was pretty damn cool.
His name's like Jim Brown, weirdly.
Yeah.
Not the football player.
But like the whole fight in the mirror maze.
The final fight in that movie, oh my god.
Oh, yeah. But that's just dripping with metaphor, like...
Yes!
Because Bruce is fighting phantoms the entire time until he and reflections of both himself and his enemy until he eventually catches him through a mirror. It's like, oh well, goddamn. Meanwhile, his opponent is fighting with a false hand. It's not even a real hand that he's striking with.
Right. That's a metaphor also, right there.
It's like seriously some brilliant. Just filmmaking in general.
Oh, the cinematography of that, it's just...
Yeah.
Bruce is a notorious perfectionist.
Thank God him and Stanley Kubrick never worked together. They never would have finished the project.
Well, apparently that rubbed off on Jackie. I mean, because Jackie's a nut bar.
Yeah.
And since Jackie does all his own stunts...
You mean I have to do it again?
Again? Oh, poor Jackie. But Enter the Dragon, it's just, and numerous other movies numerous other movies and shows have basically, stolen the idea for that mirror fight and redone it shot for shot.
Certainly.
Mortal Kombat did it.
Fucking Conan the Destroyer did it.
Well, yeah.
Really poorly.
That's because Conan the Destroyer is a special movie.
Terrible movie.
Although Wilt Chamberlain's performance as the princess's bodyguard might shatter the unintentional comedy scale.
That's true.
Oh boy, he's bad.
I don't know. Just Grace Jones devouring scenery with like 3 lines. She has like 3 lines of the whole movie, but like every time she's on screen is just like, focus on her. Watch her devour the scenery as she mugs in the background.
Yeah, it's interesting because she's not a good actress at all.
No.
But there's something about Grace's on-screen presence that's magnetic almost. It's not like she's void of personality, let's just put it that way. I have a lot of respect for Grace Jones, honestly.
She's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, she really is. Magnetic, just as I said, watching her and almost anything. Hell, she was in a Bond movie.
Yeah.
As the bad guy's like heavy, which is fucking awesome.
Fucking awesome.
And it was a Roger Moore one, so it was silly. Because all the Roger Moore Bond movies are fairly silly.
I kind of like the silly Bond movies.
I do. I love the silly Bond movies. I love the Connery ones too, but the Moore ones are so just gloriously stupid. Because Moore was actually a spy and he could not take Bond seriously. I mean, Moore's kind of, a crotchety old dick, but...
Right. Well, back to Kung Fu.
But back to Kung Fu, yeah. Oh, my God. But yeah, so Enter the Dragon was the first one that really, grabbed me. And then I watched a bunch of older Jackie flicks because that's what the local video store had. By the way, folks, back in our day, there were these stores where you could go in and rent movies on these things called video cassettes.
It's an ancient lost technology that is best lost,
honestly. Yeah, the video cassettes.
Although the art of the video cassette cover is something that is sadly lacking. Like, seriously, the boxes for those things are beautiful.
Some of them absolutely gorgeous.
Like, even the schlockiest, most terrible, made for $5 in a sandwich horror movie got some gorgeous boxes.
Yeah, absolutely. But, well, it helps that the box dimensions for the VHS box are not too dissimilar from movie posters.
That's true.
In terms of ratio, which helps a lot.
Which is why why DVDs have largely kept the same thing, but the same ratio. They could be chess piece square, but they're not.
Yeah.
But
somewhere
along the transition from cassette to DVD, the gorgeous box art was lost.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. But
anyway, back to what we were saying.
But so I was I'd heard about Jackie Chan, and I decided I wanted to watch some of his movies. And so I was in the video store. I was like, okay, Jackie Chan movies. Okay, here we're in the appropriate section. Fearless Hyena. Let's give this a try.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh God, it's amazing. I mean, it's a classic martial arts movie story. Jackie is the rebellious student who doesn't want to put in the work and such. And they're bad. There's an evil martial artist who's crushing various kung fu schools, and and then his school's targeted, his master is killed, and eventually he has to track down this old his master's master apparently, who puts him through training from hell, and he has his revenge fight, and he effectively. And if I remember correctly, it's amazing. It's basically the same story as the first Drunken Master, honestly.
The Drunken Master movies are great.
Oh, they're amazing. That's the other one. The second one I watched was Drunken Master. Now, For people in the States, the movie that was released in the theaters called Drunken Master is actually the second movie Jackie did with that title. The first one is released in the States called The Legend of the Drunken Master.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of, Legend of the Drunken Master, where he's drinking the industrial alcohol.
No, the industrial alcohol is Drunken Master 2.
Okay.
That's the one with his aunt, played by crap, what's her name? Anita Mui.
Right, okay.
Whom I adore, by the way. Anita Mui and Michelle Yeoh are two of my absolute all-time favorite Asian Chinese actresses. They're amazing, both of them. And I admit I had a serious sort of movie fan crush on both of them because Michelle Yeoh, oh my god.
The funny thing is, during the period of the VHS store,
yeah,
I did not watch a lot of kung fu movies, but there was a section there for them because I was. Right. I shuffled through them, scratching myself, shuddering like a junkie, looking for anything animated, particularly anime, because that was the thing that I had discovered from my childhood that actually existed.
Yeah, I watched a bunch. I rented a bunch of anime from the video stores also.
Yeah. But and when I inevitably couldn't find it, or couldn't find the next in the series, or whatever horrible downfall arrived there for me, I would rent a terrible horror movie to cheer myself up.
Right. Yeah, I had my kung fu movies and my anime and and schlocky sci-fi also.
Oh, the schlocky sci-fi. Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yes, Goscoian in the chat does correct. Michelle Yeoh is technically Malaysian. You are correct. I always forget that. I just associate her so much with Hong Kong cinema that I forget that, and Goscoian's right. Michelle Yeoh's Malaysian, still gorgeous and amazing.
The funny thing is, I didn't really get into old school kung fu till the late '90s, early 2000s, when you had that whole renaissance of kung fu movies, with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Kung Fu Hustle, and Hero, and House of Flying Daggers, all of which I saw in the theater.
Yep.
And then I started looking at the older stuff because that's what you do. And yeah, it was. That's when I developed my appreciation for kung fu movies. Was basically in college, because this renaissance had happened for them here in the States, and I was like, holy crap! I remember these when I was a kid. Holy crap, these are better than I remember.
Yeah, there's some. They're just so many. I mean,
except for the Legend of the Flying Guillotine, I think.
That's a special movie.
Profoundly ridiculous in a way that it's a terrible movie, but it's so ridiculous I could not tear away.
The fight scenes are pretty good, though.
Yes.
But yeah, they're just. I've watched.
Although the Flying Guillotine is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
It's a real weapon.
It is not. You are lying.
It was actually made. And people attempted to use it.
Someone made a fucking birdcage with saw blades on the end.
It wasn't a birdcage. It was a neck with basically it was a sack with a ring in the middle, which had when you pull the string, it would collapse blades inwards. It was an actual thing.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and usually I from what I understand, it wasn't usually used.
Noise when you threw it.
Of course, it didn't. And generally, most people didn't. It wasn't usually effectively. It's something people they made. I don't know if it was ever successfully used. I mean, it was probably easy. Might have been successfully used in that someone might capture somebody, drop the thing over their head, and then pull the string to cut their head off.
Right.
But at that point, I mean, then the head falls in the bag and you're all set. I mean, you're still better off using a sword to cut their head off, or an axe.
Or an axe, or
any number of different things.
Any number of chopping or cutting instruments.
But so I watched a bunch of old Jackie Chan films, and then I got into Jet Li stuff. Once Upon a Time in China.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, you think?
That's a good one.
As much as I love Drunken Master 2, which is both those movies are stories about the same Chinese folk hero,
right?
Wong Fei-hung, majorly important Chinese folk hero, and fought against the imperialist British, etc. Drunken Master 2 is the more fun movie, and I enjoy it, and I love the fight scenes, and I love Jackie. But I have to say, Once Upon a Time in China is a better Wong Fei-hung story. Though they come from different parts of his life.
That's true.
Because Drunken Master 2 is from the part where he was still practicing his drunken fighting. And Once Upon a Time in China is when he's already given it up. He's promised never to use it again. He promises never to use it again after he recovers from drinking the industrial alcohol. This is all part of the actual story about Wong Fei-hung, who I think is an actual historical figure with a lot of sort of folktale elements.
Kind of like Davy Crockett.
Yeah, exactly along those lines. Same sort of thing. Interestingly, I can think of another movie that involves Wong Fei-hung that is from yet another part of his life. Do you know what it is?
To the Electric Boogaloo?
No. So there are a bunch of Once Upon a Time in China movies. They're all about Wong Fei-hung. And there are a bunch of Wong Fei-hung. But there's a movie involving Wong Fei-hung as a kid.
Huh.
And I bet you don't know what... I know you've seen it, Eric. And you might not have realized it.
Was it The Karate Kid?
No.
2?
No. It's it's The Iron Monkey.
Oh, shit. Really? That was...
The kid is Wong Fei-hung.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And so the story's about the Iron Monkey, who is basically a Chinese Zorro.
Yeah.
And
he's totally Chinese Zorro. I was going to use the Batman analogy, but he's clearly Zorro.
He's clearly Zorro. Well, he's got the exact same relationship with the sheriff of the town that Zorro has with the police in his area.
Yeah.
And so,
he doesn't have the gobs and gobs of gadgets.
Right. It's all about his personal abilities.
Yeah.
And he's doing the whole Robin Hood steal from the rich, give to the poor thing, which Zorro did also.
Yeah.
The Iron Monkey's wonderful. It's a wonderful movie. So there's this traveling doctor and fighter for justice, Wong Kei-yin, Wong Fei-hung's dad. As I said, Wong Fei-hung was a real person, and so is Wong Kei-yin. Wong Kei-yin's played by the incomparable Donnie Yen, who's amazing. Donnie Yen's amazing. And so he's basically he's big into law and order and doing the right thing, but he's also a good guy. He's definitively a good person. And so there's a corrupt lord who's coming who's taken over, who basically tells it because of the whole tells Wong Kei-yin about the Iron Monkey and hires him to gets him to agree to capture him and bring him in. And Wong Kei-yin's like, well, yeah, sure. He's a thief. I'll be happy to do that. That's the right thing to do. And of course, all the villagers turn against him at this point.
Right.
And so there are a couple of fight scenes between Wong Kei-yin and the Iron Monkey, and they have these wonderful ongoing dialogue during the fights, talking about what's going on. And it's one of my favorite examples of storytelling during a fight scene, which I think is one of my favorite things. And I apply it to a bunch of role-playing games when I can. It's one of the great. I've had a few wonderful moments like that in a bunch of feng shui games I've run. But it's also a wonderful illustration of a wonderful conflict between a lawful good character and a chaotic good character.
Yeah, and chaotic good.
It's like these two people who are very clearly both good guys, very clearly actually on the same side in the abstract.
Yeah, in the bigger scheme of things, they're on the same side, but circumstances have put them on the opposite.
Right, and at the end of the movie, Wong Kei-yin decides that the status quo has to change here because and he switches sides and helps out the Iron Monkey, largely because the person who's running the town is taken over by a corrupt Shaolin monk who with the poison palm technique and stuff. It's amazing. If you haven't seen the Iron Monkey, watch it. It's amazing. It's great.
It really is.
It is one of the most accessible kung fu movies I've seen. Also, I mean, it's just,
I don't know. I can't remember the director's name. The guy who did Shaolin Soccer and Kung Fu.
Stephen Chow.
Stephen Chow. I love Stephen Chow.
Oh, I love his movies too. They're not. It's not
King of cooking. Seriously,
they're
all kung fu movies that are just ridiculous. They completely embrace the absurdity of what's going on and are very tongue in cheek. but it's so earned. It's like Gurren Lagann.
Sure, but he does kung fu comedies.
Yes. Okay.
I'm talking about from a standpoint of a straightforward traditional martial arts movie.
Okay, fair enough.
And it's those, and honestly, the comedy is the combination of comedy and action is in those. Chow is good enough at it that it's not as hard. Hong Kong cinema does this weird balance of comedy and action, which is very hard for a lot of Western viewers to get their brains around. And it's because of it's not the same sort of type of action comedy that you see in Western Hollywood films. It's a different style of pacing and transitions from serious action to comedy. Now, Chow's movies are pure comedies.
Yeah.
So it's much easier for a Western audience. They know this is a comedy with action. And there's no that weird sort of break between the two, which you see in a lot of very serious Hong Kong action movies. We'll have
Ip Man, actually, immediately springs to mind as doing that.
Which one?
Ip Man.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
Which is a great movie. I totally recommend seeing that. Also, Ip Man 2.
Oh, Ip Man's great.
Even though they're very much like totally like communist propaganda.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. But like those and almost any of the movies Chow Yun-fat's in.
Yeah.
Like Hard Boiled has some truly brilliantly comedic moments, and at moments where for most Western audience you go, "What?" I don't get. I think it's at this point. I think Western audiences are. There's been enough exposure to the pacing and style of Hong Kong films at this point, and some of the tropes from that have been adopted in Western cinema. That I think a lot of Western audiences will have less problem with it now.
Yeah.
But I remember people being very confused by the pacing in Enter the Dragon when it came. Not Enter the Dragon. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It threw a lot of people off when it first came out, when it was first released.
I remember that. I remember really enjoying it, but not understanding, and kind of understanding why some people didn't like it. Like there are some. I remember like seeing it with some friends, and a couple of them were like, I don't get it. And I was like, but that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and I get that a lot of people don't like the ending, which is...
Yeah, where she takes the leap of faith and jumps off the bridge and flies away. It's not a leap of faith that she can fly. Shut up, Megan.
No, it's a leap of faith. She's dead.
Yeah, it was suicide.
She's dead. Spike Spiegel is dead. Dogs flew, man! It's the whole point! She was doomed!
Doomy McDoomerson.
She's a tragic character, that's the whole point!
Yeah.
Also, Michelle Yeoh...
She was the definition of, like, the Norse doomed hero. She just happened to be Asian and do kung fu.
Yeah. And as an aside, Michelle Yeoh and Chow Yun-fat are fucking amazing in that movie!
Yes, they are.
Oh my God.
They fucking are.
Oh my God, Chow Yun-fat in that movie.
Oh, this is death scene where he gets attacked by what's her face, the totally not a witch with the scroll case. It's actually a dart gun.
Yes.
And he does this amazing job of parrying every single of this scattershot of darts that she fires at him, except for one that gets through. And yep, now I'm fucked.
God, I love that movie. It's a wonderful movie. There's a movie. The other movies that came out during that period, like you mentioned, Hero and House of
Hero's story isn't very good, but holy crap, is it a visual feast!
It is gorgeous.
It is one of the most beautiful movies I have ever seen.
It's stunning. Its use of color is
really
amazing.
Glad I saw that in the theater.
The story's not bad, and it's a wonderful example of nonlinear storytelling. I mean, it's very similar to Rashomon that way. It's got a very similar framing device as Rashomon.
Yeah, because he's telling the story, and it's like, well, wait a minute, that doesn't line up to what you said before with this. Well, that's because...
And it's a wonderful movie. But it's also a giant piece of Qin Dynasty propaganda.
Yeah.
The whole One China thing. That's a little bit of that can be viewed as a problem. Because...
Which... factors quite nicely into communist China's little propaganda about all pieces that were once China are now China.
Yep, that's entirely why. Yeah.
Which, good luck. So why are you picking on Japan? Japan was never part of China, and Russia's got something to say about that.
Yeah. But, at any rate, but yeah, that actually reminds me of one of my favorite sort of what the fuck moments in kung fu movie history. Jackie Chan did a sequel to Bruce Lee's The Chinese Connection.
He did?
He did.
Okay.
And so, it involves, helping a bunch of miners against the Japanese army, because it's, during that period of history when Japan had invaded part of China and all this stuff. And the movie's ending is one of the great sort of examples of, dear God, Hong Kong cinema is not afraid to have a downer ending.
Yeah.
Because the movie ends with Jackie and the miners coming up out of the mines triumphant to see the Japanese army in front of them, and they are gunned down with machine guns. The end.
Yes, you've told me about this ending, and I need to see this movie because of it.
And it's like, what? Did that just happened? They lose. Because they can't win. The miners can't win here. They couldn't. That's the whole point of the story. I'm fine with it. When I first saw it, I was not prepared. Let me just say, 50-year-old Peter Bowman, not prepared for this.
You see, 15-year-old me would have fucking loved that. If there's one thing I really hated was happy endings.
But I was used to. Even with I'm used to the but with Hong Kong, with most of these martial arts movies, I'm used to the ending being, even if it's not like a complete victory, the bad guy goes down and the hero stands triumphant in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
No.
No, everyone's fucked. The end.
But oh my God, yeah. But before we go any further, I do want to talk about one of my all-time favorite Jackie Chan movies.
Okay.
And it is one of the most absurd. It is simultaneously absurd and brilliant, and the cast is amazing because it is called Wheels on Meals.
Oh.
It was filmed in Barcelona, and the stars of the movie are Jackie, Sammo Hung, and Yuan Biao.
Yeah. Oh man, I think I remember seeing this once a million years ago.
I think I made you watch it, yes. And Sammo Hung and Jackie are the most well-known of the two. Yuan Biao in Hong Kong cinema is a legend over in Hong Kong. And the three of them were known basically as the heroic trio because they were for a while the three big sort of hero actors in Hong Kong kung fu movies for a while. I mean, Sammo was important over in Hong Kong, very much more important in Hong Kong than he was in the States, sadly, because Sammo's amazing.
Right.
And that movie is amazing. It's just crazy and amazing, and it has one of my favorite fight scenes in the history of cinema between Jackie and a very young Benny the Jet Urquidez, who's a Brazilian martial artist, who is this small sort of stocky Brazilian guy who is actually faster than Jackie.
That's a feat.
Yeah. Like, you blink during that fight scene and you miss something. I mean, there's one bit where he throws this sort of crescent kick, Jackie ducks. His foot goes by the table, and the candles on the table go out because of the wind, because of the air moving by from his foot.
Right.
And it's a beautiful shot. And you can find this fight scene on YouTube. Go look for it. It's Jackie Chan versus Benny Urquidez, or Benny the Jet. It's amazing. He actually shows up again. He actually shows up in one of my other favorite movies, which is not a Hong Kong. It's not an action movie, kung fu movie, but Grosse Point Blank. He's the Basque assassin in that.
Oh, okay.
That's Benny Urquidez. He also is the fight cinematographer for that movie.
Okay, that makes sense actually.
And also was teaching John Cusack some martial arts during that also. But yeah, it's Actually, I may be misremembering the name of the Heroic Trio. Might be something I'm thinking. When I said Heroic Trio about the about Jackie, Yin Biao, and Sammo Hung, I might be wrong. I think Heroic Trio is actually a movie title. Now I'm thinking about it.
It might be.
Oh yeah, it's one of my the Heroic Trio, right? One of my favorite martial arts movies. I just forgot the name of it. It's about it's the heroes of the story are three women: Michelle Yeoh, Anita Mui, and Maggie Cheung.
Ah.
Oh my God, that movie's amazing. I remember that now. Oh God, that's a great one. But yeah, there's just tons and tons of these things. But and Eric's right. There was this wonderful resurgence of of the genre in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Yes. That's what sort of, because I remember watching them, the old ones as a kid, like as companions to the Creature double feature. Because fucking Godzilla, yeah.
Right.
But again, the late '90s, early 2000s, there was resurgence, which was really sort of led by Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and there were a couple movies that came before, but that was the one that really sort of brought it to the fore.
I think the thing that broke it, that's the one that made people take it seriously.
Yeah.
The one that actually broke it out in the States was Jackie getting a few big ones here.
Yeah.
Because Jackie had a few movies he filmed in the States. The Protector, which was terrible. The Big Boss, which is good. And then he went back to Hong Kong for a while. Then, Rush Hour, but like the one we mentioned earlier, Rumble in the Bronx, was the first big one in the States.
Yep, Rumble
That's the
in
one
the Bronx.
that hit. And I love Rumble in the Bronx, although it is very silly.
It's profoundly silly, but in ways that just make me just smile.
Yes. It's set in Brooklyn, in the Bronx. And by the way, it's filmed in Vancouver, and Vancouver does not do a very good job pretending to be the Bronx.
Not at all.
Also, the gang that Jackie fights for part of the movie is the most multicultural gang I have ever seen. And that it's led by an Italian greaser type. It's got a Native American, a black dude, an Asian guy. It's like, yeah, that's going to happen.
Italian guy had a duster, and he'd always flip up the collar.
Yeah. And then Jackie did a bunch of movies right after that. Like he did that. He did Rush Hour, Shanghai Noon, which is also wonderful, and it's one of my favorite Owen Wilson performances. Weirdly,
that Zombieland are like his two best.
And crap, what's the other movie he was in? There's The Royal Tenenbaums.
Oh, right, I forgot about that movie. I forgot that movie existed.
I think that's one.
Was that Owen Wilson?
That's what I'm trying to remember now.
Was he in that? I don't think he was in that.
I mean, Gene Hackman was in it, obviously.
Yeah.
Luke and Owen Wilson are both in it.
Really? Okay. I don't remember Owen Wilson in that.
Yep.
It's been a long time, though, so...
Yeah, he was wearing the cowboy hat and the jeans and stuff.
Okay.
It's a Wes Anderson movie. I mean,
right.
Owen Wilson shares writer credits with Wes Anderson on that. So,
okay.
It's a very Wes Anderson movie.
It's totally a Wes Anderson movie. Are you kidding?
Yeah. It might be the most Wes Anderson-y Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah, you might be right. Maybe the one in India with the three brothers.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's tough.
If only because, like, Peter Venkman, I can't remember the actor's name for some reason. Bill Murray shows up as like a tertiary character in like the beginning and the end.
Well, Bill Murray's in virtually all of Wes Anderson's movies.
Yes, but it was like
he was in Rushmore. He was in the Royal Tenenbaums. He's in Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I mean,
yeah, but he usually has more of a presence.
Yeah, so he's a more important role in most of them. Yes.
But in the one in India, he sort of shows up. Yep, we're checking off this box. We're spending way too much time on a guy who doesn't even have any lines because it's Bill fucking Murray.
But yeah, we should get back to the martial arts.
The subject at hand.
Yeah, the kung fu movies. I have to ask you, Eric. So, what would you say is like the thing that you take most from the kung fu movies that is why they appeal to you so much?
It's there's a here's the thing about kung fu movies. They're often about two heroes fighting each other because they're on opposite sides, even though they're both good people. There's a definite theme of doom terrorism and doing the right thing, even though you're gonna fail, but you're gonna do it anyway because it's the right fucking thing. And dude, some of the matches have some of the best just cinematography I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
like fuck you, Hollywood. Fuck, go watch Hero again, Hollywood.
There's a wonderful.
And they managed to do all of this at once.
Yeah. There's this wonderful video on YouTube. I can't remember the guy's name, but he does this thing about Jackie Chan's directing, specifically, and the way Jackie directs action scenes. There's a lot of interviews with Jackie about it, and it sort of shows the stark difference between how Jackie felt, like how Jackie and a lot of sort of Hong Kong directors film action scenes, and the way Western directors do. And one of the big things that Jackie points out is in Hollywood films, you never see the hit land. They always they always like you see a strike happening, and then they cut to an angle so you can't see it. And they show this wonderful comparisons of like two fight scenes, like the amazing, great fight scene between Gamora and what's her name? Karen Gillan's character in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Nova.
Between Gamora and Nova, their fight scene, and like there's these wonderful things. It's a great fight scene. It's wonderful, but like it's astonishing. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Yeah. Every time any one of them throws a strike, the camera cuts behind the one being struck, basically.
Well, that's the another thing about it is in your general like American action scene, there's lots of cuts and different camera angles all happening at the same time, and this has the great effect of sort of keeping the pace kinetic and adding an air of chaos like being in a fight sometimes is. While generally in Hong Kong action films and a lot of other stuff, there's not nearly so many cuts. You're often watching the fight like straight on from a single camera angle. Maybe it'll cut to another camera a couple times.
Right.
But you're seeing the actual fight choreography in a Hong Kong movie.
Right.
And you're seeing a lot of jump cuts and other stuff.
Right.
They both have their place. They're both
absolutely
good ways to do it. But yeah, the fight choreography it's one of the reasons to watch a kung fu movie.
Yeah,
it's where you're going to see the actual choreography.
Right. There's that. There's also other thing Jackie does a lot is he will often re-show a particular move being done like multiple times in a row, like
yes,
slightly different angles on it, so that you can sort of see what's going on, and it gives it more emphasis and sort of weight to it. And it's one of those things that you think it seems silly when you describe it, and then you watch it and you go, I see what he's saying.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that Jackie's point is the reason that Hollywood does that so often is that they have to because their actors are not fighters.
Right. They're actors first and foremost.
Right. They have to use stuntmen and such, and they can't do that because they're not trained from to do the stuff, and it's Jackie doesn't see it as a flaw. It's just a necessity a difference of necessity, basically. I think is sort of how he thinks his style is better for action scenes, but he's not faulting them for it. I think is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, and again, as I was saying, they both have just very different feels of the feelings. Like in your general American style fight, it feels more like you're a part of the fight. It draws you in. While in your Hong Kong movie, you're definitely a spectator watching the fight.
Yeah,
and they're both two different feelings, and they're both awesome.
When it's done well on Hollywood films, I agree with you. But there are a lot of them where since I've become aware of it, I feel even more disconnected because I know what they're doing with the cinematography, and that distracts me.
I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
I get that, and I can see why someone would have that reaction.
Now there are counterexamples to that, and like The Matrix does a brilliant job with that, but that's largely because Yenwo Ping did the fight choreography for that movie.
Yeah.
And
another thing is the American style needs a really competent director and cinematographer behind it. And it's really easy to fuck up.
Yes.
It's like, and the simple fact is, we're so used to it here in the States that we don't notice it when it fucks up.
Right. Oh yeah, sure. But yeah, again, I'm not actually really criticizing it. It's just one of those things that stands out. It's one of the things I adore about the Hong Kong films is the cinematography, the choreography. Honestly, is like
watching the choreography, and it's fucking beautiful. And it probably should have been the first thing I listed when you asked me why I like kung fu movies.
Well, there's a lot of storytelling.
It's just so self-evident. Of course, that's why you watch it. It doesn't bear mentioning because it's so fucking obvious.
Yeah, I agree with you on this whole storytelling thing, though, too. They do tend to tell slightly different stories.
Yes.
And there's more emphasis on self-discipline and it's not so much about my experience is less about the sort of heroism of it and more about the weirdly, like a lot of them,
duty. Duty.
There's a lot of duty and and face.
Yes.
Like a large motivation about like getting the sort of striking back at the corrupt evil guy who's destroyed your school. It's not revenge. It's about
restoring the honor of that
restoring
school.
the honor and the name of the school. And it's very different. Like it would be pure revenge motivation in a Western film. And in the Hong Kong film, it's less about it's not about
revenge. It's
about revenge also.
Yeah.
let's not beat around the bush there.
Okay, fair enough.
and it's also, and both of them, you'll see both about stopping the evildoer who's doing bad evil things because we got to stop before he goes to some other school. But yeah, it's and there's lots of wonderful and there's lots of interesting ideas about the differences in the styles of schools and their philosophies.
Yeah, like proving that the Shadow Fist is superior to the Thousand Heart Kick or whatever.
Right. Well, it's not just it's not just the superior but it's also about the the philosophy behind the schools of thought behind the schools too. Showing that the sort of a more pure sort of a school devoted more to sort of more pure self-disciplined community-driven support values has strength and not just it's honestly it sort of ties it largely to you can sort of tie it back into sort of similar a similar ethos almost to the whole light side dark side thing in the Force.
Right.
And it's not with this it's like the classic corrupt former monk. It's not that it's not so much that he's evil. It's that he's fallen not because he's evil or that it's because he's hedonistic and no longer cares about community and is only out for himself. It's a very different set of ethos.
Yes.
Than and it translates to a lot of
stuff. A lot of that comes back to Confucianist philosophy.
Absolutely,
very much about subserving your individuality for the sake of the greater good and following one's Tao and all that other stuff, which is something I don't necessarily agree with.
No,
but it makes for a great story.
It does. It makes for a great story, and there are elements of it that I understand and do agree with. I don't agree with all of it because no. But I there's just something about that, and I will say this. The other thing about it is I love Jackie's movies because, especially with Jackie, the other big thing that Jackie does that very few other action stars do is he lets his character be vulnerable.
Yes.
Jackie's character routinely in the early parts of the movie loses and gets hurt. And even during his triumphant fight scene, he's taking a beating. And he's gunning through it. And that's something you do not see very often. Like, the classic Western action star heroes are these invincible engines of destruction. Which is not Jackie. Like, Jackie is invincible and indestructible, but not in the same way. He gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, Jackie is invincible and indestructible because he refuses to be destructed.
Right.
And they try really hard to destruct him, and they come really close a lot of times.
I mean, part is that Jackie himself is actually indestructible, so there's what you tell. Not actually, because he's, the number, like, I've seen, there's a wonderful graphic about all the injuries Jackie's taken in his career filming, and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
The number of broken bones, man. Also, you can tell exactly how old the Jackie Chan movie is by how flat his nose is. Because his nose has been broken, and the cartilage in there is basically destroyed at this point. I think Jackie actually. I think Jackie. I noticed that when Jackie. I think it was Jackie pointed it out in like an interview on Conan, on the late night show or something like that. Not Conan. It was before that. But yeah, it was like around about when Rumble in the Bronx came out.
Right.
But I do want to talk about a little bit more about Jackie. I mean, there's so many Hong Kong directors and stars that I love, but Jackie, Bruce, and Jet Li are my three favorites. Although Stephen Chow is a very close fourth. And I mean, like, Tony Jaa I love, though he's Thai, but Tony Jaa's amazing.
He works in Hong Kong movies. It's fine.
Well, he does work in. A lot of his stuff is actually based in Thai cinema. Actually, it's like The Protector. I think The Protector is a Thai movie. It's not Hong Kong. And The Protector is amazing. And we haven't touched on Japan and like Japan's movies yet either. But
and their samurai.
It's not just samurai stuff, but the Street Fighter series with Sonny Chiba.
Oh yeah.
That's not samurai. That's that's dark, gritty grindhouse. I mean, good stuff though. Oh God, so
I haven't seen a lot of those movies out of Japan, honestly.
Yeah, I've not seen a ton of them. I mean,
honestly, most of my Japanese cinema is animated, horror, or
Kurosawa.
Or Kurosawa, yeah. It's pretty much most of my American cinema, also, but.
But yeah, I love Jackie's just almost effortless combination of action and comedy, and I think his comic timing is bordering on perfect. Honestly,
he's pretty fucking hilarious.
Stephen Chow's amazing, and I think he might be a better action comedy director than Jackie is, but he doesn't have the same on-screen presence. Like, I love Stephen Chow on screen. He's wonderful. I mean, because he's the star of, most of his movies.
Right.
But
Jackie Chan is a star for a reason.
Jackie is amazing.
He's known the world over for a reason.
I mean, and honestly, if you don't know who Stephen Chow is, go watch Shaolin Soccer, go watch Kung Fu Hustle, go watch God of Cookery.
Those are all great fucking movies.
Though I will say Shaolin Soccer and Kung Fu Hustle are easier to get into than God of Cookery.
Yeah. They're also generally better movies.
I'd agree with that. Yeah. I have a hard time deciding which I like better between Kung Fu Hustle and Shaolin Soccer. I lean towards Shaolin Soccer for the most part, but I
tend to lean towards Kung Fu Hustle.
I totally get that.
And it's partially because God damn it, I'm a bad guy. Why do I keep on being the good guy?
Right. I totally get that. And I just the level of just the sheer absurdity of the wire fu soccer just.
Oh yeah, the sheer absurdity of both of those is just
God,
so, and it's so on display with such earnest joy of sort of like, yes, it's stupid, but I adore this, and so do you now.
But I think what I love about about Shaolin Soccer is just the sheer sort of earnest belief that Kung Fu is what will save the world.
Yes.
It's just this wonderful sort of, and like, because it's just the bookend scenes of, like, Stephen Chow's character watching all the things, like these people having awful things go, like, like the woman slipping the banana peel, falling down, guy having trouble parking and all this stuff. And then the end scene when everyone knows Kung Fu and, like, she slips the banana peel, backflips and lands on her feet. The guy, sort of moves the car in with a soft kick. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, it's so absurd, but it's so beautiful.
So, yes. Also, the scene with the bad American drugs.
Yes.
That's what the screen just labeled: bad American drugs.
It's the evil villain team is on evil American drugs. That's in the original Hong Kong subtitling. In the subtitle that was released in the States, that was not phrased that way. They were not American drugs. They were,
evil corporate drugs or
something like that. They didn't. I don't think they were labeled the nationality. But in the original dialogue, they're American drugs. But yeah, that entire final match is, and that's the thing, is it's a Kung Fu movie, but it's not about, like, Kung Fu fighting.
No, it's about
it's about soccer. And I remember watching the trailer for Shaolin Soccer before it came out, and I remember watching it and going, I have to see this movie.
Yeah.
I must. Just the sheer absurdity about it. And, like, the little love story between Stephen Chow's character and the girl who makes the buns, who ends up joining the team.
That's the thing. There's always this sort of, like, that subtext to all of Stephen Chow's movies, at least the ones I've seen, where, like, there's this sort of, like, awkward girl with some weird imperfection that he's really got a crush on, but he won't admit it, and then he does, and now, no, I must give you up for the sake of everything. No, we can be together, screw you.
But, like, there's less of these sort of, like, complete disconnect, like, the female character is more involved in Shaolin Soccer. Love interest, because she's sort of like a side back thing in Kung Fu Hustle. She's not like a character throughout that shows up, because she becomes the team's goalie in Shaolin Soccer.
Yes.
She saves her head and becomes the badass goalie of Doom because her Kung Fu's actually really good.
Yeah, because she does the kick from, like, one goal to the other, and it transforms into a flaming tiger halfway down the way.
But she does all this crazy, like, sort of very sort of Gav in the chat sort of wind bending, but, like, it's very similar stylistically to what the style they use for air bending in Avatar. Avatar.
You know what? Yes, you're right. And
she might even be a practitioner of the same that actual style. Because, as an aside, Avatar: The Last Airbender, all the bending styles are actual martial arts.
Yes,
I forget which one's which.
Actual martial arts.
I forget which one's which.
If I remember correctly, earthbending is actually, like, Southern Mantis style, which is, like, the weirdest thing for earthbending, but it works.
Yeah, it works perfectly. But yeah, it's just, oh my god, I love that. I love that movie so much. But again, in Kung Fu Hustle is a better pure it's a better pure martial arts movie.
Yeah,
I would definitely say that. And I love all the old masters in that movie. They're all wonderful.
Yes. The landlord couple are just
amazing. They're amazing. I love the wife. She's, like, the best.
Yes.
She's, like, one of my favorite characters in any Kung Fu movie. She's great.
And then you have the Beast, who's just, like, this vaguely effeminate, creepy, like, bald Asian guy in, like...
You look at him, he looks like the most ineffectual loser.
Yes,
like
he's
you look
like
at him, he's just this
greasy
sort of,
and oily, and he's wearing like just a tank top and some boxers and some
like,
fucking plastic flip flops.
And he is death incarnate.
He's a goddamn engine of destruction.
And it's amazing. It's oh god, and that final fight scene between the Beast and Stephen Chow's character is
Yes,
and the ending of it is just so over the top beautiful. It's just perfect. I love those.
Heaven falls, five-finger Buddhist palm, boom.
And yet, as much as I love these, I still love Jackie more.
I can't blame you. I mean, Stephen Chow has the. I love the. You know what? I can't make a choice between the two of them.
I can totally get that. Totally get that.
Because Jackie Chan's just. He's got the comedic timing, but he does the. Like, beautiful comedic timing. But he does the like serious hero stuff better. At the same time, Stephen Chow's stuff is funnier, yet at the same, and completely self-aware of its own ridiculousness, but is so earnest about it.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, Jackie's movies tend to be a bit more serious overall. Like, the police story movies are great cop movies, on top of being great kung fu comedy movies. They're not that funny overall. But, like, Super Cop, the third one, oh my god.
Super Cop.
Again, back to, oh wow, they brought in Michelle Yeoh, because Michelle Yeoh's amazing. Jackie and Michelle Yeoh in the same movie. If you can't tell, I love Michelle Yeoh a lot. I adore her. She's great. But there's that, you know, the Arm of the God movies, which is basically, what if Jackie Chan was Indiana Jones?
Oh, I missed those.
You haven't seen the Arm of the God movies?
No.
Oh my god, they're great. Operation Condor, the second one, he's going after Nazi gold. It's fantastic.
Oh, man.
You would absolutely adore those movies, Eric.
Oh, you know what? I'm willing to bet that was during the time I was watching all the old El Santo movies.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I actually remember you trying to get me to watch these. It's like, sure, right after I watched El Santo and Dracula go back in time to fight Frankenstein for Hitler's gold.
You have to watch. At the minute of watch Operation Condor, it's amazing. But Jackie does all this crazy genre stuff. He's got honestly, as weird as Shanghai Noon is conceptually, it's entirely in Jackie's wheelhouse. Jackie's like, I'm going to do a Western.
Yeah, he does the genre bending really well.
He's phenomenal at it. I'm going to do a cop story. I'm going to do a Western. I'm going to do action adventure archaeologist stuff. Okay, Jackie, go. I trust you.
Whatever you want, dude.
And then he scatters in stuff like, as we said, Rumble in the Bronx, which is got some wonderful fight scenes. Some of Jackie's best stunt work, including a bit where he actually ended up breaking his ankle and kept shooting.
Yeah, I remember that because he ends up a quarter to halfway through the movie just having a giant foot. And you don't notice it until someone points it out to you because it's Jackie Chan. And he's just like, no, my face is up here. Don't look at the clearly broken foot.
Yeah, there's a scene where he's
painted his sneaker onto.
Well, there's a scene where he's basically being pulled bare on his shoes behind a boat, water skiing on just his shoes.
Yeah,
his ankle was broken during the filming of that, so he's got this rubber fake sneaker booty over his cast.
That was the one where he gets run over by the hovercraft, isn't it?
He doesn't get run over by the hovercraft.
Right, the bad guy gets run over by the hovercraft.
No, that's the one where there's a chase scene where a hovercraft is chasing a bus.
Yes.
Which is a chasing stunt I never thought would have been possible. But Jackie Chan...
It's not a little hovercraft either. It's one of those giant ferry hovercrafts.
Driving down a street chasing a bus. How awesome is that?
It's like the size of a fucking building. It's beautiful.
It's amazing. Oh my god, I love that. The action scenes and stunts in Rumble in the Bronx are amazing. They're just wonderful. And oh my god! And as I said, I do, and the Rush Hour movies are a lot of fun. And as annoying as Chris Tucker can be, he plays off Jackie perfectly.
Yes, he does.
The chemistry between these two guys is just fantastic.
one thing I want to say about Rumble in the Bronx is that came out around the time when like many teenagers my age at the time, I forget exactly what it was, where I was trying really hard to, I only like serious, grim things, grr, blarg, I don't like things that are fun. And
Rumble in the Bronx came out in 95, as a side.
That's, yes, right around that time. And I'm like, but this movie is awesome, and oh my god, there's a hovercraft chasing a bus, and this is great, and no, grr, this is stupid, but awesome! That was pretty much my reaction to watching that movie.
And it's Jackie, so he completely sucks you in.
Yes.
And Jackie's the other thing I love about Jackie, and always makes me smile, is watching Jackie working with improvised weapons.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Jackie does working with the environment using the environment as a weapon better than almost anybody I've ever seen. Jackie will turn a sawhorse into a weapon of doom, death, and destruction.
You're referencing a particular scene. I can't remember which one.
He does it multiple times. He does it in a bunch of different movies. Like, a pool cue. Like, the pool cue is obvious. Gavin the chat's right. Never let Jackie anywhere near a ladder.
Yeah, no shit.
God help you if you're a warehouse full of, like, refrigerators and jukeboxes and pool tables and chairs.
Yeah, it's all over. It's done.
Like,
you're doomed. Go home.
Like, the great joke is, what is the most terrifying thing ever? And, the most terrifying thing ever is being a bad guy and realizing that the person you're chasing is Jackie Chan carrying a baby into a warehouse saying he doesn't want any trouble.
Yeah.
You're doomed at this point. You can't win.
Time to go home. Right.
You have lost.
They got the baby.
Don't want any trouble. Is he carrying a baby? He is. Oh God, we're all gonna die.
A scene from Jackie Chan Adventures.
It is, I think. Actually, yes. I think it might actually be a scene from Jackie Chan.
And about halfway through, the villains actually catch us like, yep, he just went inside. We're not going there.
I think you might be right. Oh, that's a wonderful cartoon. But yeah, the other thing I do want to stress though before we wrap things up, we're running a bit long, because we both love this topic.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Is, as always, I want to try to tie it back to gaming, and specifically, I mean, the obvious thing is tying it back specifically to role-playing games.
Clearly,
and the thing I want people to take our listeners to take from this and to remember and is, I think Hong Kong cinema is fantastic for watching as someone who's playing in a game where there's combat's going to be a significant part of the game, and not because it's because it's not just because, and this is an important thing, is you can get a sort of wonderful mind of ideas for things you can do in a fight scene and the ways you can describe stuff to make the fights more fun and more interesting.
Absolutely.
And when you land a blow, you attack someone with a sword, make the description a little bit more flavorful, and then if you succeed, you basically describe the hit and sort of think about the awesome stuff you see in a martial arts movie and add elements of that to it. And stuff like that. But the other important thing that you get from a lot of these movies, like the really, really good ones, is remembering that there is storytelling done in the fight scenes. And that's something that you don't see enough in role-playing games. It's something I don't do enough, and I try to. I love it when I do.
I totally agree. It's something I don't do enough either. As a player.
Right, as a player. As a game master, I try to do it, but I forget sometimes, and I get focused a little bit too much on the tactics sometimes. But,
it's so easy to get sucked in the tactics.
Absolutely.
Particularly with, 4th Ed or Iron Kingdoms.
Because the tactics it's good, fun tactics.
Yes.
But then adding description and storytelling on top of that makes it just an ice cream sundae of amazingness and fun.
And it's great.
Yeah. I mean, they're the best ones, the Feng Shui game I ran on stream with you, Nick, Word, and Skitch.
Oh yeah.
Some of the fight scenes, we actually did pull that off.
Yes. The one against the corrupted dragon in Yggdrasil. Right. That was that was straight out of a fighting shonen or some high fantasy Japanese lunacy.
Right. Oh, but and just the description, Nick really getting into describing how Sonder fights.
Yes.
And you were doing that too with
Long Fang.
Long Fang, and
and how I'd always fail whenever I tried to bite something.
But stuff like that's describing why you failed.
Yes.
That and
clearly I bit my tongue again.
Stuff that's the sort of thing that that I think is important, and as I said, being able to Gavin in the chat is Rob, falling into the trap of playing story sessions and fight sessions, not realizing you can have both. They can be both.
Yes.
And that's the thing is they can be, and it's one of those things that it's hard to remember that. It really is. But I think some of the most satisfying moments are when you do that.
Yeah. I'm reminded of the fight on the train in the Iron Kingdom's Full Metal Fantasy game. That was another great example of us having both at the same time.
Right. And that's the sort of thing that's and as a game master, never be. I want to reiterate this. I've said this before, but if the players are improvising interesting stuff, don't be afraid of letting it happen, even if it's not strictly by the rules, because it can add so much. And it's one of the things I love about the Feng Shui
even the failures can be fun.
Oh God, yes.
In fact, the failures can be especially fun.
Well, they're usually funny.
Yes.
But the whole thing with the scene on the thing with the train, the fight of the train. I was not prepared for that at all as a game master, but
yeah, fucking word going, yeah, Lysera casts Boundless Charge and she's speed 7, so she gets on the train, right? Yes. Well, yes, but you're going to be left behind. No, she's not. I'm throwing the elf at the train.
Okay. So apparently, Lugnut is going to fastball Cecil.
Oh, no. Lugnut wasn't there, remember? It was,
you're right.
It was Rook that threw her.
Right, Rook did it, yeah. Lugnut was kind of not in good shape. That's right.
Yeah, Lugnut was, I think, busy being a leaking pile of scrap metal at the time.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all that sort of stuff. It adds a lot, honestly, and you're never going to get it perfect. I mean, but you should try. Even if you're not comfortable with it, just try it a little bit, and the more you do it, I think the more fun you'll have with it. And I do hope, and I do recommend going and watching some of these movies, not just the Hong Kong action movies, kung fu movies. I mean, those are great for that, but samurai, some the classic samurai movies, some of them.
Classic samurai movies.
And some there are a bunch of really good stuff that you can get from Western cinema too. Actually, Grosse Point Blank does a brilliant job with storytelling in its fight scenes. Honestly.
Yeah. They Live.
Oh God, yes.
They Live is all about half the storytelling is in fight scenes.
Yes.
Man, I love that movie.
It's a good movie. It's a surprisingly good movie.
It has no right to be as good as it is.
No, well, it's like Big Trouble in Little China that way.
Yeah. Which is another excellent example.
But it's on the sillier end of things.
Yeah. Honestly, any Paul Verhoeven movie does this.
Yes, I agree completely.
RoboCop, Total Recall, and Starship Troopers are the three that do it the best.
I would say that the first two are better than Starship Troopers, but yes.
Yeah, no, they're probably better than Starship Troopers, but Starship Troopers has a certain spot in my heart, mostly because I really hated it when it first came out, and then once I divorced it from the book,
it's a much better movie once you do that. I agree completely.
Yeah,
it's a much better movie when you divorce it. If you basically go, this has basically nothing to do with the book, it's a much better movie.
It just happens to involve guys fighting Space Marines fighting giant bugs.
It's Imperial Guard fighting bugs,
yeah,
but yes.
I use Space Marines as a generic term.
I know. They're Marines, they are modern-day Marines in space.
Yes.
As opposed to...
Not genetically engineered space monks in power armor.
Right.
With rocket-propelled machine guns.
Which is...
chainsaw swords. And how did Games Workshop make those things boring?
They have special talent, Eric.
Apparently so.
Anywho, I think that's going to do it for this week. Normally we save time in each episode. I mean, we could go on like this forever. But it's we've run like a half an hour long at this point nearly, so we should probably wrap things up, honestly. Thank you guys so much for watching. We try to save time at the end of each episode for viewer questions. We didn't get any this week, and even if we had, we wouldn't have gotten to them.
Yeah, we were kind of...
We both lost track of time during this.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you.
See, we didn't need to prep for this.
It turns out we didn't. You're right, Eric. We could have done this weeks ago. I'm glad I said, fuck it, we're doing it. But if you're a listener and you have questions for us, we'd love to answer them. We love getting questions from you guys. You can send them to us. Our email address is surlygrognards@yahoo.com, surlygrognards@yahoo.com. Or you can post them on our forums, which you can find at mechagm.forumer.com. Lastly, if you're listening to this on YouTube, you can post a comment there. The channel, for the people watching us live, is youtube.com/mechagm. We record the show live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern here on hitbox.tv/mecha-gm. And if you've got feedback for us, ways we can make the show better, things we should be doing that we're not doing, things we are doing that we shouldn't be doing, let us know. You can any of the places I've mentioned to contact us, please do hit us up at any of those places. Or if you've got show topic suggestions, we adore show topic suggestions.
Holy crap, do we love those.
Boy, we could have used one the past few weeks.
Yeah.
But we love those dearly. Send them to us in any of those places. We love getting them. I send a tweet out right before the show goes live on Hitbox. My Twitter handle's @mechagm. Just follow me there, and you'll know when the show's about to go live. But other than that, I think that's going to do it for this week. Anything last things you want to say about Kung Fu movies before we go, Eric?
They're awesome, and I should watch more of them.
I concur with that. Same here. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys next week, hopefully. Take care, everybody.
Bye.